Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Jacksonville Jaguars Insider Podcast. My name is John Shipley. Today we are talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars and their running back room ahead of their big Week 16 battle with the Denver Broncos. The Jaguars reportedly had rookie running back Bhayshul Tuten undergo surgery on a finger injury after he sustained it against the New York Jets. Did not come back in the game after sustaining the injury. According to NFL Network's Mike Garafolo and Ian Rappaport, he should be expected to be back in time for the playoffs. So, ideally, he misses at most 3 games. But it's a big one. He's missing. Week 16 against the Broncos. I mean, it is as big of a game for the Jaguars as can be. Because I know, we've been saying that for weeks now. And when you get this late in the season and the playoff race is really this tight, that's just naturally how it happens. And by the way, that playoff race is getting a lot less tight the more games that the Colts drop. It doesn't look like the Baltimore Ravens are really going to factor into the wild card either. So it's the Colts on the outside in, Jaguars in it, and now you're kind of playing for seeding. Of course, never say never. You're not locked in until you're locked in, but it looks good for the Jaguars. But in terms of playing for seeding, this is the ultimate play for seeding game. Denver Broncos have been rolling. They're the 1 seed. Potentially the Jaguars, if they get a win over them, they give themselves a chance to, depending how the final 2 weeks plays out, maybe take a run at the 1 seed or maybe even the 2 seed. It looks like, if they win the division, they're going to be at lowest the 3rd seed. If they don't win the division, they could even be the 7th seed. So there's a lot of different moving pieces. So that's why this is a big game against Denver. And, Bhayshul Tuten, it wouldn't be like if they lost Travis Etienne, I think that'd be a, ring the alarm, DEFCON. I think losing Bhayshul Tuten is a big deal. Not to that degree because he's not yet, their workhorse. I'm sure that will come eventually. Right now it's Travis Etienne. Travis Etienne's had a great year. Travis Etienne will continue to lead the running back room against Denver. Looks like LaQuint Allen will be the number 2 running back. And the Jaguars on Tuesday added DJ Dallas. Now, adding Dallas I thought was an interesting move because to me it kind of confirms a few different things. One is that, they weren't looking for a guy who can step in and be the number 2 back and spell Etienne while Allen was just a 3rd down back. They are clearly comfortable with the idea of LaQuint Allen, seeing his snaps go up and producing more out of the backfield. More than he's already asked to. Because he's produced quite a bit this year. He is the stat sheet doesn't say it, player of the year. I mean, he has done things for the Jaguars as a rookie that, he's earned a chance to carve out a larger role. And it's obviously hard when you have 3 running backs and one of them is playing really, really well. But, I mean, at the very least, they don't go games where he's not making some kind of an impact, making some kind of a play. Did last week against the Jets with his big return. He's been, a big part of what they've done all year. And I do think that they trust him, in that number 2 back role. Now, I wouldn't imagine that means, there are probably some self-designed plays for Tune. I'd say more so in the passing game. And I know, that's not to say Allen isn't a very effective pass catcher. He has great, hands, runs good routes. It's just Tune has the long speed, the explosiveness, that he's somebody you kind of get designer plays for. But Allen, I do think, they like his physicality as a runner. I would imagine they'd be comfortable with putting, more on his plate, directly as a rusher, even on early downs. And we've seen what he can do on 3rd downs. He's obviously very, very reliable there. So the fact that Jaguars have him and have that depth is a good thing because, this is a team that rotates its backs pretty frequently. They have a clear number 1, but Tuten's definitely gotten, his chance to go more often than not. Had they lose that number 2 guy and didn't trust their number 3 guy, like say the number 3 guy was just a special teamer or something, and they had to find a new top backup at this time of the season, they'd be pressed. But clearly not the case. And I think, obviously, not having one of your more explosive, players and creators and a guy who's really good after contact in Tuten is significant against Denver. I think that they, can still find a way to make it work. Now, the issue is, like we talked about with Travis Hunter, they lost two things when they lost him. They lost him on offense and they lost him on defense. It wasn't like a normal player getting a season-ending injury. I mean, they had a talented player on both sides of the ball. Essentially the value he gives you as two different players, it's the same value that you lose when there's an injury. It's similar to, obviously, a much smaller degree with Tuten because of what he does in special teams. I mean, he's been a really good kick returner for them because he's such a good fit, I think, for the kick return rule. I mean, it's in a lot of ways, kick returns now look like very spread out, long developing running plays. Block well up front, find a lane, and go. And if you run hard enough and you're explosive enough and your guys block for you well enough, good things can happen. And Tuten, I mean, he's so explosive and he's so good at breaking tackles, especially in space, that he's been a big asset for them on special teams this year. He has set them up with some short fields in some big moments. And not having him against Denver is significant, I think, in that instance. Perhaps even more so not having him on offense. And he has scored 6 touchdowns this year, so it's not like he hasn't made an impact. But I think he has been that impactful on special teams and helping the offense not have to drive, 70, 65, 60 yards, etc. 60 is not bad, but you get the point. So ultimately, that's what I think they're losing against Denver. Now, Dallas, to me, is interesting. DJ Dallas, it really seems like the Jaguars were trying to fill a specific role with, picking him up. He's never really been a volume back. He's not a guy you're going to give a lot of carries. He's not a guy that really is going to be on the field in front of many other running backs. He is, his skill set as a running back, he's a number 3 back. That's not, anything, obviously, against him. It's what the NFL has been, and he's been a productive pro doing so. He's a valuable asset to have because he also gives you value as a kick returner. He's returned over 80 kicks in his career, was the first player to return a kickoff touchdown in 2024 when they started to really revamp the kickoff rules. So I think at the very least, you're getting another body at the running back position, which you need with Tuten now. You have LaQuint Allen, who can step up and do a lot of things as a number 2 running back, so you fill in Tuten's role. Allen doesn't need his role filled, but you also need to fill the kick returner role for Bhayshul Tuten. You do that here with DJ Dallas while adding a third running back to, give them the depth to move forward over these next few games. It's not a flashy move. It's not one of the moves that's going to win you a Super Bowl, but it's a move I think makes a lot of sense. I mean, this guy has a lot of experience returning kicks and perfectly sound option as a number 3 running back. So, the Jaguars, I'd expect a heavy dose of ETN on Sunday. That's just my guess. I think Liam isn't going to be afraid to let Trevor, put the game on his shoulders and to, quote unquote, let it rip. I don't think that for a second. I think Liam, the way he's called plays for the last several weeks, really since the Arizona Cardinals game specifically, has just shown that he has a lot of confidence as a play caller. He's feeling the momentum as a play caller because of the way the offense is playing. But I think ETN has just been so dynamic for the Jaguars that whether it's out of the backfield as a runner, whether it's as a pass catcher, whether it's in the screen game, whatever they do with him, I think Travis Etienne is going to be critical for the Jaguars this week. And I really think it could be a week that kind of sums up how important he's been to this team. I don't know what the future holds for Travis Etienne in Jacksonville. I really don't. I don't have any great read on it. What I do know is he's one of the more respected and well-liked players in that building by players and coaches alike. And, when they do make it to the playoffs, they can look at him and say, he's one of the guys that really helped get them there. Thank you guys for listening to today's episode. Please make sure you follow us on social media such as Facebook and Twitter at Jaguars on SI.